folks who don't know, the Free State Project is a movement of voluntary human action where we are trying to concentrate libertarians in the state of New Hampshire.
I think we've done more in the last decade than every other libertarian movement combined has accomplished in the last 5 decades.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, libertarians, anarchists, movers, natives, and those on your way, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Free State Live, where you can hear about all the different ways you can live free and thrive in the free state of New Hampshire. First and foremost, time to welcome everyone back. As always, I'm Justin O'Donnell, former libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate and host of the Subversive podcast. And joining me tonight, we have Queen Quill and perennial Porcupine leader, Carla Garrick. How are you, Carla?
I am always peachy, and here we are again.
always. And we got 2 special guests tonight. Interesting topic. We all want to talk about something on the forefront of most potential movers' minds is, well, how are you going to get there and find a place to live? And with the real estate market, the way it's been the past couple of years, and crazy prices and rumors of a bubble, and, well, all the difficulties that comes in finding your forever home. So joining us tonight from Porcupine Realestate, we have the one and only Mark and Zach. How are you guys?
Hello, Justin, Carla. Great to be with you.
Hi, Mark. Always and lovely to see my book at the back there. Thank you so much. That's very kind. And Alu's book. Is that all? Oh, no, it's Justin's.
We lost Zach. I know Zach had a power outage and dealing with the snowstorm, but I'm sure he'll find a way back on.
Well, for people watching for the first time, make sure you get one of these. You guys can tell us where to buy them, but I love these ones. Live here. Going first on there's Carla's book. There's Justin's book. There's Carla's book. And maybe we can put that in the show notes, but these are fantastic. They're both good reads and a lot of good information about New Hampshire. So even though I know a lot about New Hampshire, I still enjoy learning something new.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the plug. My book's available on Amazon, as is Justin's, I believe, as well as at your website, right, Justin?
My book's available a lot of different places.
Okay.
Amazon, libertynh.us, or if you follow me on Twitter, you can actually just go to my Twitter page and you can buy a copy right from the Twitter page right there.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
But it is available free.
I encourage people to buy the books, but then bring them with you to New Hampshire to get these 2 to autograph them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Both of mine have original autographs in them. So that's important.
And actually, Mark, that's a good point, because we have Porcupine Day. So one of the things we know, right, is that when people come and visit, when they meet the community, when they come to one of our events, they're pretty much sold, right? Like sometimes you have to come up a few times, you meet your tribe amongst the different people. But we like to encourage people to visit New Hampshire. We throw a lot of parties for that exact reason. And then, of course, the calendar is a great resource, but we have Porcupine Day coming up. Do you want to tell folks who might not know a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The Porcupine Day is our annual celebration and anniversary of when we hit the mark of 20,000 signers for the original statement of intent for the Free State Project, which was part of the original white paper that Jason Sorens put together. And a lot of us, including you, Carla, you and I moved here a long time ago, 15 years ago, were some of the original old movers. And we didn't wait for 20,000 people to sign. We said, that's a great idea. We're going to be pioneers in this trip towards liberty in our lifetime. But in 2015, you did hit the 20,000th mark, thanks in great part to your leadership. And so we like to celebrate that each year with sort of an update on the state of the Free State Project and celebrate our victories and look towards more successes to come.
Wow. Okay. You're hired. That was fantastic. Yes. And of course, Porcupine Realestate will be sponsoring part of that event. And for folks who can see the crawler at the bottom, Mark has very generously there's a coupon, there's an offer. It is a limited time offer, or it's limited to a number of tickets. So don't wait to get your tickets. Porcupine Day is coming up on the 4th of February. And I was supposed to plan the entire menu today, but my internet and power was also out for part of the day. So I'm going to have that call maybe tomorrow. But folks should go to tinyurl.com/pork, as in porcupine, PORC, Day 2023. The tickets are $50. That includes the event itself, some food, a drink, a little keepsake. We're hoping that there'll be enough in the kitty to give $5 to the documentary film that's being made. I mean, it's kind of cool because, as you said, we've been here so long that are you kind of enjoying just seeing the growth and new people and new faces and all of that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
It's fantastic. In fact, for me, one of the most rewarding things about the entire movement and the Free State Project has been how well it's been received by a lot of natives. People who are native to New Hampshire, have lived here a lot longer than the Free State Project has been around, just feel reinvigorated that we're here. And they say that we're so glad you guys are moving to the state. In many ways, they felt like they weren't being supported, or they felt like a small minority being sort of libertarian leaning or ANCAP leaning. That's the way we all felt wherever we're from before moving to New Hampshire. But this huge community that has grown here has really empowered and emboldened other people to start fighting for their rights and defending our live free or die spirit. So that part has been great. The community is amazing. And come out and celebrate with us on Porcupine Day. In the crawler there, you'll see that there's a discount, 30% off if you use that code PRE plus LCP. And let's note that LCP is Ledgeview Commercial Partners. Matt and Brittany Payne have generously volunteered and offered to help subsidize the tickets along with my firm. So you get 30% off if you use that code. And if you're from out of state, you're going to be amazed to be in the same room as 200 or 300 people who embrace liberty the way you do. I moved from Las Vegas, Nevada, a city of 1.5 million people, which is more than the entire state of New Hampshire. And I think I knew all the libertarians in Las Vegas. There were probably 30 at the most in that huge city. And of course, we get that for a regular dinner night out in Manchester, a city of 110,000. So it really is amazing.
Yeah, that really is something that one can't overstate. I love how my memories come up, and I see, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, there'll be a post and I was like, oh my God, I saw another car with a porcupine on it. And now that's like on the regular, my neighborhood, I won't say half the cars, but probably once every block or so, you're just going to see someone who self-identifies as someone who has moved here for more liberty. And it's incredibly exciting. I keep trying to remember where we originally met. I feel like it must have been a tap room, but Mark and I have come a long way. You helped me with the first Pork Fest, if I remember correctly.
I did. I think I came to your move-in party when you were down there in Hudson. So yeah, from the early days, we've been friends.
Yeah. So your company's been around since the start, right? More or less.
We probably officially branded it around 2015 as Porcupine Realestate and incorporated, and I opened my own brokerage at that time. And for the viewers who are unaware, it's a boutique residential real estate firm that specializes in working with movers of the Free State Project, people relocating to New Hampshire, as well as liberty-minded people in state already who can buy or sell their own home or invest in investment property. And unfortunately, Zach was going to join us, but his power knocked out. But Zach Hodgden is our newest agent at Porcupine Realestate. Very nice young man. And those of you who are on Discord will recognize him. He's real active on the Free State Project Discord channel, whatever it's called. So. Yep. I'm a boomer. I don't know what Discord is, but you'll see.
You are not a boomer. You are a Gen Xer. Don't make us all 40 years older than we are.
Well, Mark, you mentioned that a lot of people want to move and invest in real estate. It's more than just buying a home to live in. It's buying an investment to take care of yourself and your financial future long term. What is the investment real estate climate like in New Hampshire? Because I know ton of free staters who own multifamily properties and multiple rental properties and have been taking the advice of you and your firm for the past decade and trying to get in on that market. And we've seen the last couple of years that it was a huge spike in the real estate market, especially locally. Like, what do you feel like we're trending towards for the next couple of years and where that market's heading in the future here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, of course, it's hard to know exactly what's going to be coming up this year, next year. I like to joke that my crystal ball looks more like a snow globe, and I'm trying to read the future. But in general, we're probably going to see some softening of prices. I mean, the last 2 years were amazing run up in prices of real estate in New Hampshire, like a lot of places, with double-digit increases in 2022 and 2021, and almost that much in 2020. So it's priced a lot of people out of the market. And of course, the new high interest rates that really jumped up in the last 4 or 5 months have forced a lot of home buyers to sit on the sidelines, keep their powder dry. They're nervous. They want to see what's going to happen with the market. And of course, housing is more affordable. So we are going to see a softening, particularly in the higher end luxury market. And then for the lower end, because homes are more, they're going to cost more because of the higher interest rates. Your first-time home buyers now are going to be even more so looking at the under $400,000, under $375,000 price range. So we're still going to have a huge demand there with limited inventory. So I don't see as much price decline in the sub $400,000 range.
And New Hampshire has kind of always had a limited inventory. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's because it's such a great place that people constantly moving here and want to live here. But like, do you see like any kind of preference that free state movers have towards kind of like the urban versus the rural or investment properties versus homesteads? I know you do it all over the state, but like what are kind of some of the unique types of properties that people could like look at and that you could help people look into that maybe other realtors or just kind of maybe they might not find elsewhere that might be unique to a libertarian needs here in New Hampshire?
Well, when we first started working with Free Staters a number of years ago, most people wanted to be near the cities or in the cities. That's where the jobs were. So it made sense to be close to Manchester or Concord or Portsmouth or Nashua, maybe within a 30, 35-minute commute to be in a more rural area. But all that changed under the COVID paranoia and pandemic and lockdowns when people realized they could start working remotely. And as long as they have high-speed internet, they could really work anywhere in the United States. And that just brought a flood of new movers into New Hampshire, including our people, our freedom-loving people, who all of a sudden could live out in a really rural area, sort of remote, as long as they had access to high-speed internet. So for the first time in 2020, really started seeing a lot more people go into the northern counties, Coos County, Carroll County, Upper Valley, places where we hadn't sold much before, and to be in a more rural, private, slow environment. So that was an interesting market change. And then, of course, it still depends on your family situation. If you care about schools, you want to be in a good school district. If you homeschool, then you don't care about that, but you'll certainly want to be in a low property tax town. These are the conversations we have every day with clients and future prospects who want to know more about New Hampshire. So we're always happy to deal with those conversations.
And you guys put together a fantastic resource, if I remember correctly, that sort of breaks down a lot of the different areas and towns according to their tax rate, right? Because for folks back home who aren't maybe 100% familiar with everything New Hampshire yet, we have no sales tax and we have no personal income tax. We rock. That's awesome. But that means that, somewhere they have to actually find some money to come plow the roads when a foot of snow falls from the skies. So property taxes in New Hampshire are town by town based. And so it is actually really important when you're searching for your home to make sure that you're in an area that the tax rate works for you. A lot of the more university towns, college towns, DEM towns, sanctuary cities, the tax rate's higher. And, and that's just how it is. Now, maybe the services are a little higher and there are less potholes, who knows? But but where you live and where you choose to live does make a big difference. So that resource is available on your website, right, Mark?
That's right. We've done a number of blog posts, and we put together a site called nhrelocationguide.com, which will have a lot of the resources you just mentioned. You can also link it to our website at porcupinerealestate.com, a list of the tax rates, property tax rates by town, some of the zoning regulations. We'll talk about some towns that have no zoning rules at all. And also we have a guide to what we call Meet the Regions. There are a number of so-called regions in New Hampshire, like the Seacoast, the Merrimack Valley, where the three of us live, Upper Valley, and the Lakes region. So we'll give you some pointers on the pros and cons of those various areas. And again, we're happy to have a personal phone call if that will help. And we've also put together a number of helpful videos and webinars that can be accessed on our YouTube channel. So look up Porcupine Real Estate on YouTube and watch some of those.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, because, asking people to move is no small feat. It's actually, it's a big ask. I think the fact that over 6,000 people have just, answered that call is amazing. And we want to see more people come. We know that this strategy works. We know concentrating together is working. And we want to, we want to help put people into their homes. And so do you have a favorite region, or are you just sort of all over?
I chose Manchester because it's the largest city, has the most things going on, restaurants, activities, entertainment. It's also centrally located in the state, which when you're on the road as much as I am, that's super helpful. That's really why I chose Manchester. And there's a huge concentration of Free Staters here. You guys might know the number better than I, but it's got to be somewhere between 300 and 500. You probably have 300 just on the west side of Manchester. And
I'm stacking them in my district.
Every time you go to the grocery store or to Murphy's Tap Room or just walking down Elm Street, you're going to bump into a fellow Free Stater. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, speaking of numbers, I joke, Carla said 6,000 some odd have moved, and that's 6,000 that have been willing to put their name on a list that have moved. The realtors and Porcupine Real Estate and Ledgeview probably have a better idea than the FSP of how many people have moved, just because of how many people have needed housing in the past 20 years. But it's been a huge number, and you're right, it's a massive commitment. It's picking up your life, your family, your career, and moving it across the country, sometimes on what some would call a trivial cause, but for libertarians and people like us, it's a major important issue.
You say the cause of human freedom is trivial?
I said
the most
some
important thing in the world
to me and you.
Is the story true? Have you sold a house for Bitcoin?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've sold 2 houses completely for Bitcoin and a couple others for partial Bitcoin.
Wow. So that's pretty cool, because of course, I want us to turn New Hampshire into the crypto state of the world. We got to smoke El Salvador, and we got our work cut out for us. So, certainly for folks who are liberty curious and New Hampshire curious and Free State curious, who are in the crypto community, we've had a strong connection with the crypto community from the start. I want to say that transaction is probably even 5 years old, or am I misremembering? I don't know.
I did one in 2018 and one in 2019. And then also in 2019, helped a buyer purchase his home, and all of his down payment came from Bitcoin. So we had to work that out with the mortgage company, figure out the right reporting involved. And then in 2020, I helped my seller sell his house in Dover, and with the buyer came in with a lot of Bitcoin assets. And now the seller had to pay off his mortgage. My client had to pay off his mortgage, but we convinced him to take half of the money in US dollars to pay off the mortgage and the other half in Bitcoin. And by doing this, he sold the house. It was kind of struggling to sell. It was a long time on the market, and Bitcoin was still pretty strong at the time. So we worked that out. I talked to the title company. They set up a Bitcoin wallet. There you go. set up a Bitcoin wallet to accept the deposit. And then at the closing table, we confirmed that half the funds had transferred to the title company to pay off the mortgage. And then we got out the laptops, and the buyer zapped the Bitcoin over to the QR code of the seller, waited a few minutes for confirmations, and handed over the keys. So it's very, very exciting. And I think we're at the vanguard here in New Hampshire for such things.
We're at the vanguard here in New Hampshire, where Bitcoin is commonly accepted and known enough that it's a benefit to put it on your sign saying you accept it right there up front. So I've never seen that on any other realtor sign that they accept Bitcoin, even if some might be willing to jump through the hoops to make it happen.
Yeah, I'll do a shout out to Ledgeview Commercial Partners. We mentioned them earlier. They're a large property management company here in the Manchester area, and they manage 300 units, and they will accept rent payment in cryptocurrency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they accept Dash, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Now, a lot of our friends are hodlers and aren't going to be partying with that anytime soon. I think they do have some tenants that pay in cryptocurrency, and it's really great. So we're trying to be at the leading edge of these things. Obviously, at places like Porcupine Freedom Festival at PorcFest, you can find tons of vendors that accept cryptocurrency. But we're even starting to see it adopted by mainstream businesses. In the Seacoast, there's some. In Keene, there's some. In Manchester, there are some businesses that will accept cryptocurrency payments. So, I'd like to see New Hampshire continue to lead that charge.
Yeah, for sure.
I get told I'm crazy every month when I point out to somebody that I pay my rent in cryptocurrency to Ledgeview. They're like, "Why aren't you holding?" I'm like, "Well, it's meant to be money.
Yeah.
It's meant to be spent and used, and I can turn the bad money I get in dollars into good money with crypto after I pay my rent."
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And yeah, it's amazing to see what we're doing here. I think people are often shocked how many Free Staters do a lot of our in-community business with cryptocurrencies at this stage. We're talking everything from sourcing meat to buying cars and houses. So it's pretty amazing. Now, you're also one of the sponsors for Liberty Forum, if I'm remembering correctly. So the Liberty Forum is also coming up soon after Porcupine Day. So for folks who are watching, Porcupine Day, a little more in-state, but if you want to get a flavor of like what we're like when no one's watching, get a ticket for Pork Day. But then definitely come back for Liberty Forum. So tell everyone a little bit about Liberty Forum, Mark.
That is always a great event. It's the first weekend in March, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. I believe the dates are March 4th, 5th, and 6th. But usually we get several hundred people in attendance, sell out all the tickets, so buy yours today. And always a number of great speakers. This year we're going to have, I think, Naomi Brockwell is going to be talking a lot about privacy, which is top of mind for people. She's a cryptocurrency expert, as well as a digital and technological privacy professional. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from her. And then also we're going to be highlighting a lot of the successes from locals in New Hampshire. We want people from out of state who have been watching the Free State Project to learn about all the successes of people here, building businesses, being entrepreneurs, the culture that we've built, the homeschooling groups and co-ops and learning centers that are out here, the CSA, the homesteaders that are now selling food and trading peacefully among their neighbors. What else? Some of the political successes. All three of us here are hyper involved in local politics in New Hampshire. I've been elected 4 times to the state legislature, and so we'll hear about.
He is honorable, so the title says.
If you're a has-been like me and you're retired from the legislature, you get the title honorable. But I hope I have earned that. We'll see. Only time and history will tell. But a lot of good people doing good work here, not just Free Staters, of course, but all the good local freedom, greater freedom family that we've met over the years and have brought into the fold. And I think we're going to be highlighting a lot of them during that weekend. So I think you can go to fsp.org and there'll be a link there to get tickets to the New Hampshire Liberty Forum. But it's always a fantastic event.
The link is in the description of the video for anybody who's watching. But no, it's great. I'm looking forward to both events. I think they're going to be fantastic and fun. And Liberty Forum really is the best time to visit. Porkfest is the funnest time to visit. Liberty Forum is the best time to visit because people like to complain about the weather being the one reason they're not going to move. So come see if you can hack it in the winter and see what it's really like. Plus, it's more of an opportunity to actually sit down and learn about the regions and the places and the people and the work that's being done. And that's a completely different vibe than Porkfest, which is more of just a celebration and a party for a whole week up in the North Country. But Mark, if somebody's coming to visit for the first time, say this Liberty Forum, and talks to you and they want to look at buying property, what advice would you give to somebody looking now to start the process of relocating to New Hampshire and wanting to either buy, rent, whatever, but to get here from a real estate perspective in your area of expertise to make it happen?
The first thing to do is read a few books about the Free State Project and ideally watch a number of the videos that are available on YouTube and some of the past issues of Free State Live to get a feel for the different regions. But then you must come out here yourself. You got to visit. I usually recommend you do it around one of the events like Liberty Forum. So come to Liberty Forum and stay for another 4 or 5 days to tour the state. Because until you're here, you really just don't understand how different the parts of the state can be. Even though only 2 hours away or an hour and a half by car, the Upper Valley is much, much different than the Seacoast. Hour and a half by car, but totally different vibe, totally different sense of community there. And you have to really be honest with yourself on what kind of lifestyle you want outside your house. Do you want to live on 10 acres in the woods and shoot on your own property, but may have to drive 20 minutes to the grocery store or more? Or, do you want to be in more of an urban environment, close to the action, and have a condo or a house where the neighbors are only 30 feet apart? So you need to be honest with yourself and do some soul searching and come out, check out some real estate, go to some open houses. I'll take you there with me and we'll walk through, or with you, and we'll walk through some houses so I can show you the things to look for. Because there's a lot of old housing stock in New Hampshire, especially from out west. It's a lot different here compared to California, Las Vegas, Phoenix. A lot of 100, 200-year-old houses here that may be your bag or may not.
Yeah,
so
you talk about the difference in culture from the Upper Valley to the Seacoast, an hour and a half apart. The difference, even between two of the cities, Nashua and Manchester, only 20 minutes apart, is almost like you're in two different states at times. So it really does make sense to visit and get to know the places you're interested in looking at for sure. And no better time to do it than Liberty Forum and the surrounding events coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I know, but this has been informative. This has been great. And what I'm interested to see in the future, and we know Mark's got that first Bitcoin transaction for my house. I'm waiting until now that everybody's stacking gold and silver, when Mark comes back in a couple of years and say, I sold a house for silver. That'll be the interesting and entertaining one to me. And that sounds like a whole different process of much more difficult.
No one talks about those ones.
Yeah. It took us 3 days to count and weigh it all. But no, thank you so much for coming on tonight, Mark. It's been super fun. Unfortunately, we lost Zach right at the beginning due to his internet, because we do have winters here in New Hampshire, but we own them and we love them.
Yeah, it's not for wussies, but it's totally worth it.
Anything else you want to leave people with?
No, I look forward to seeing you at one of the future events. If you want to have a follow-up personal conversation, talk about real estate or the regions or investing or really anything to do with politics in New Hampshire, please reach out to us. Again, the website is porcupinerealestate.com. And we're also very active on Facebook, and it's at Team Porcupine Real Estate on Facebook. So look forward to meeting new friends and seeing old ones at Porcupine Day and Liberty Forum.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody check out the website, porcupinerealestate.com. Again, the link's in the description as well. And if you want to learn more about the Free State Project, always visit fsp.org. And if you want to plan your visit for the upcoming events like Porcupine Day and Liberty Forum, check out Visit New Hampshire, get in touch with the FSP staff, and they can help you plan your trip and schedule your trip to come and meet your future neighbors. It's going to be awesome, and you know you want to. And if you're already here, check out the calendar for the most jam-packed calendar of Liberty events anywhere in the world. And there's too much to do. You can't do it all, but you can try. And you'll be busy every single night. And if you want to support the mission of the Free State Project, you can go to fsp.org/give to look at different options. And remember, the Free State Project is a 501c3 charitable nonprofit, so your contributions are tax deductible. It's better to give them where you know they'll be used well than to let Uncle Sam make that decision for you. And Zach's not here to make the pitch, and Kevin had to bounce out for the night, so I'll make sure to give it. Join the Discord channel. If you want to talk to people who are here on the ground in a very active online community, discord.gg/FSP or discord.gg/LFOD, Live Free or Die, the two Discord channels where you can chat with Free Staters every day, all day. They do afternoon voice chats and video conferences and to help people plan their moves all the time. It's a great group of guys, and Zach is in there. He'll give you all the real estate advice you want for free if you just ask him in the middle of the day sometimes. So,
Justin, one more thing before Carly gives a farewell. Yep. We would encourage the viewers to wait till the very end because they'll get to hear a fun musical
absolutely
as we wrap up.
Yeah, so I know you guys love our little outro, but tonight we got something a little different for you. Carla, anything you want to leave people on?
Nope, just stay to the end.
All right, well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, stay free.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate, well, I know a guy who's really great. It's the Realtor Mark Warden. Do you want a home with 20 acres, a lakeside cabin? Any takers for renters, buyers, and sellers too? Mark Warden is the guy for you. PorcupineRealestate.com